Film club. But also the food, because it looked like gammon, the food.
No, it was a torrent that you just beat up. It was level 12.
Thank you very much for joining us for an episode of Film Club. I'm one your host, Andy Harrison. To my right, as always, is the level 12 torrent himself, Andy Donaldson.
No, I just kick shit out of him.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us. We dive into some of the cinema's best before coming back here to talk it out. Andy, what have we been watching this week?
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
I don't know why.
So, we haven't done Tarantino for a while, and that's probably because we went off on a little bit of a rant last time we did him.
No, last time can't have been then. Django.
Have we done Tarantino since Django? I don't think we have.
Fuck.
So, episode 2 or 3
2.
of Film Club, if you
Episode
go way
2.
back, we did Django and
Our
Chains.
longest episode at fucking 43 odd minutes.
Is it really?
Jesus, yeah.
Wow.
He went on a fucking rant about the cunt guy.
He's censoring himself now. So,
I am.
what do you think about Reservoir?
No, what is
Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs about? Reservoir Dogs is about a
I
group.
don't want you to give me the plot.
Do you not?
No, do really.
Oh, I'm sick of Quentin Tarantino. Reservoir Dogs is about a group of men who go and rob a diamond wholesaler, diamond jewelry place. Group of guys, they all got names like Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Pink, etc. Sorry, and it's about them meeting up with a guy called Joe. Kind of does little segments of their backstories because it's Tarantino, so he kind of like does a bit of a non-linear sort of thing. It's like flashbacks in this one.
Yeah, absolutely pulls a non-linear narrative thing on this.
But less so than the other major film. Point is, you have these guys and they go to rob a place, and it just sets in the aftermath of that, meet at the warehouse and accusing each other of who's the policeman, and you kind of see like the what actually happens, what comes out. And it's a very, very interesting film because it's Tarantino's first.
It is Tarantino's first film.
It's introducing...
Well, it's his first feature film. Sorry, he did like shorts before this.
It's introducing Tarantino as a new director on the scene, someone who absolutely loves dialogue. He loves speech. He loves the ability to... they have that intro scene that we didn't go on about where they're all together and sat at the table and it's Tarantino actually leading it, where he's on about the woman wanting a sausage or something, or a dick or something. She's wanting...
Yeah, it being too big and...
Yeah, stuff like that. So he's like, it's the story's built up about stories. It's built up about like these kind of like funny moments, which is Tarantino-esque. It's referenced later on in the film how you always, the cop in the film, because in the end, the reason they're all like pointed is like they got set up at the heist. So when you see the flashback of the guy who's the cop, you see him actually making up a story about a funny situation when he was in the bathroom and there's loads of police and he's got weed in his pocket. And it's quite funny because you see, I know I'm going to tangent, just going just right into it, I'm sorry. You see Tarantino kind of referencing himself. When you make a film, you're making a funny story and you've got to act it out just as actors do. And you've got to like go away.
I was shocked actually how Tarantino this is straight out of the gate. Like
very
coming
much
out of the
so.
gate. His
We're
first
so
film.
used to Tarantino with his other films. I haven't seen Reservoir. This is why I'm actually really happy we did this. I fucking love Film Club for this kind of shit. I haven't seen this in 10 years.
No,
I
I
haven't.
haven't. Yeah.
So I came back to this and I was like, I remember it. And what was amazing is I didn't know which one the cop was. I couldn't remember. It turns out it's the guy who's been shot on the floor.
Tim Roth.
Fuck yes. Yeah, Tim Roth. Fuck yes, it was. Point is, he goes back to the jokes, and throughout the film, you have all these guys pull out these jokes, these different stories and all this, and it pulls them together. I mean, like, at the moment, like, I fucking love Steve Buscemi, like, great actor. Boardwalk Empire, he's my favourite, Mr. Pink, boss. He's the most professional one of them all as well. And he's the one that I hope gets away. Get on, son. And I love the whole thing.
Do you think he gets away?
I'd like to think he did.
I believe he didn't.
Yeah, because you see the police outside, don't they? And they already
Just
know
to make you cry.
Nah, that was a weird crying face. But that moment where he's on about I don't tip and stuff like that, and they get this whole thing about tipping, and they get this massive thing about, you see these, what is it? You see the guys at McDonald's, they serve you don't feel inclined to tip them. And I'm like, actually, that's a really good point.
But then what a great way at the end of that scene, I love showing the power of
Joe. And he just goes, fucking tip now.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's not scared of him out like on the surface, but you can tell it's a power thing. He wouldn't argue with him.
So this is Tarantino. We could go on about the technicalities of Tarantino. Yes, there's a reference and stuff. All that Tarantino is, majority of it, is down to two things, which is writing and acting. Obviously more, but the main thing of Tarantino.
There's definitely more. There's definitely more that makes Tarantino film. But what he nails in this
so you
film.
got like violence and stuff like that. But my point is, Tarantino is known for, I should rephrase that, Tarantino is exceptionally known for his writing and his acting.
Not his acting.
Not his
Certainly
acting.
not his acting.
Not his acting.
But yeah.
Acting. Yeah, like remember that
Everybody
scene
in
in
this
Django?
film has dialogue that just crackles.
Yes.
It's awesome dialogue, which is a hallmark of Tarantino scripts. And everybody knocks their performances out of the park.
I agree.
Bar one.
Tarantino. Go on. Just fucking get it out.
Just my minor little thing with every Tarantino film. Stop putting yourself in your films. You pull us out of the film. That opening scene's incredible. And yet he's got the sloppy, unpleasant dialogue. He pops up again later in the film where, like, again, everyone's acting their ass off. And then he pops up with his naff way of delivering lines. Do carry on. I'm done.
I don't think you're done. Go on. Do you want to?
No, I'm fine.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite Tarantino films. This is the stuff that I like Tarantino for. It's in a lot of ways it's restrained, it's tight, it's simple, it's very boiled down to its necessary components. Most of the film takes place in or around one building.
Yeah, the warehouse,
which is awesome. It lets him go back and forth. There's a lot of reason for a lot of that crackling dialogue to be there. This is great. I've got one other complaint I want to come to in a little bit, but do continue for now.
So you have a bunch of very good actors. You have Harvey Keitel, which is Mr. White. He's the one, Larry, he's the one that befriends the cop, and he's the one that vouches for the cop and everything like that. He kind of sees something, he sees, oh, he's a good kid like that.
Yeah. That's a great relationship between those two.
Who is Tim Roth? The kid's Tim Roth, Mr. Orange, who's actually an undercover policeman. I don't know if he's a policeman or just undercover detective, something like that. He looks a bit of a rookie. Anyway, point is, he actually gets, what I really love about that is, I forgot about this as well, he doesn't get shot by the policeman. He doesn't get shot by the others. He gets shot by just an unknown bystander. He tries to Kana.
That's such a great moment.
And then he shoots her and he's like, fuck.
It works so well because of his non-linear narrative as well. Because the fact you don't get that scene right at the beginning when it would happen in the story, you actually get it way later on. You assume a lot of stuff has happened that hasn't happened. And suddenly you get this realization that he saw himself cross a line as well.
Yeah.
And it makes for the perfect really moment in his character arc in terms of the film's logical structure.
Yes, it's really well done. Amongst that, you have Mr. Blonde, or Vic Vega, who is... Vic Vega, is that a reference to Pulp Fiction? Isn't there a guy called Vincent Vega in it?
Maybe. It's been a long time since I watched Pulp Fiction as well. Again, probably 10 years.
It's Michael Madsen, who is just a fucking plays the psycho exceptionally well. We'll all come to that scene in a bit.
He's Mr. Blonde, right?
Aye, Mr. Blonde. Aye. You have the. I don't know who the policeman is. It doesn't say any here. So you have Steve Buscemi. I've already mentioned about Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi is just class. And he's just. I fucking love Steve Buscemi. I'm sorry.
Big up to the Buscemi.
Yeah. All right. I actually understood what you just said.
I appreciate that you went along with it for a second. Though.
I was just like, what the fuck are you about? Sure. And where's Joe? Oh, Joe Cabot. Yeah, Lawrence Tierney. So Lawrence Tierney.
Sorry, who did you skip over? Who plays his son?
Oh, yes. So this is where I'm going to. So I can't remember the name of the guy. I call him Fat Frodo.
Frodo. He looks like Elijah Wood and
Samwise Gamgee.
No, not Samwise. In Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, fucking hell! What's he called? Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. It looks like Jonah Hill and Elijah Wood had a love child.
Jonah Baggins.
Jonah Baggins.
So Jonah Baggins. I think the thing is, I think at the start, obviously, you got the part where Mr. Blonde comes out of prison. He's talking to Joe about getting him back on the scene, and you got Jonah Baggins going like, "Oh, and they're trying to fight each other." I'm thinking, who's this guy? He calls Joe Daddy and stuff like that. Is this? He fucking comes in. He goes, "What the fuck is? Get your cars outside." He comes in. He starts owning the fucking place. I was like, fucking well played, Jonah Baggins.
When he needs to be commanding performance.
Christ, he's good, yeah.
Especially when the Buscemi's on the floor. No. Tim Roth's on the floor, and you've got Frodo Baggins.
Chris Penn, by the way, just to clarify. We're going to call him Jonah Baggins.
We've got
nice guy, Eddie Cabot.
We've got Jonah himself having a go saying, "You're lying. I know it because of these reasons."
Yeah, that was a fucking great scene.
It's a wonderful moment.
It's a fucking great scene, yeah. See how all these guys come together. And yeah, what's great is you go like late in the film, it shows you them like in the car having a great story. Yeah, because he's telling a story, isn't he, Jonah Baggins? He's telling a story that he's driving, he's talking about the story like this, and he's like, hey, that was a white woman, that was a black woman, and all this. It's like, fuck it, I'm trying to tell a fucking story. And then, Buscemi in there, and you have all this, and then they're all having a great laugh. But to contrast that, you have them all like, you have a Mexican standoff at the end. That's how everyone kind of falls at the end. Oh man, it's just full of fucking great dialogue, great like exceptional acting, and some really good relationships in amongst them. And what a moment to end the film on, right? I fucking love this. Mr. White just being told that the guy's vouched for, the guy's been shot for, the guy's just killed Joe, his boss for. Turns out he is a cop. And he's just like, that sound is like, it's Harvey Keitel's going like this. The police went, freeze. You see camera pan up and you hear the shot. Mate,
dude, it's perfect.
Fucking yes.
Again, the performances both managed to capture the struggle of that moment, and then Tarantino perfectly gives you this ambiguous ending about like, and you want to know what happened.
Yes.
You want to be like, oh,
did Mr. Pink live?
Because it's like one of those things where it's like it's so close. And just the use of audio to suggest that the police are there and like, but not needing to show them because that would be too far. The subtlety of that moment's amazing.
The use of audio in this film was really good. I especially like the use of the radio host who's got the most monotonous, droll voice in the entire world. It's like, Super Sound of the Stars of the 70s. Have you heard of whatever film this is? Like this.
So funny.
I actually really like it because honestly, he's got like the most. And then we go on to this voice. And the point is, they actually reference that later on because Mr. Blonde is when just before he goes into the scene, which I'm about to go on about. He mentions, "Oh, you ever listen to so and so, whatever, the 70s?" Comes on. What's the song called? Fucking hell! Of all times, I forget the song.
To the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle.
Yeah, that's
it.
Stuck in the middle of you. Right, my man went fucking blank on that song. Thanks, Andy. And then comes the controversy of Tarantino, which is his love for violence, which is one of the things he's known for as well. That scene, fucking hell. I remember watching it when I was younger. I mean, I was, 15 when I watched this first? Sorry, Dad. And
so powerful.
Yeah. And
so powerful.
Honestly, and you see it off screen and stuff, like the camera pans off screen, and it comes back, and he throws, what? Can you hear me and stuff like that? And I'm like, ha.
It's so powerful for a character which you barely know as well.
Yeah.
But you still don't want to see him burnt alive. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Even though you don't really know this police officer, you don't want to see him killed.
Yeah.
And that's done
feel for that guy.
By letting you as an audience, the camera and Tarantino are showing you how to feel about things, like turning the camera away at this moment. He's not going, hey, indulge in this. This is a fun, violent moment. He's saying this is unpleasant. You don't want to watch.
Again, use of audio to emphasize that.
Yeah. And
then it comes back, and all this is going on with a really upbeat kind of song. It's like, yeah, this is a fucking great. Oh, no.
In terms of audio and camera, one of my favorite moments in that scene is when he walks outside and he goes and gets the gasoline.
Oh,
the trunk.
yes.
Camera watches him go out. Camera watches him come back in.
The music kind of dies down.
Yeah.
It's like ambient sound. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing right now. Goes back in. Music comes back in.
Yeah. The haunting moment, though, when he's outside and the music has died down, the children in the background.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, good
lovely,
point.
Lovely little touch.
So, yes, and this guy obviously doesn't get burnt alive because Mr. Orange comes back and shoots him.
Perfect cut. Perfect cut.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just that last moment. That's when you fuck. You don't know what's going to happen. Then just the gunshot.
Bang, 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 bang.
Kiss. Bang, bang. Shane Black. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Go on then. So what do you think?
Love it. Like I said, one of my favorite Tarantino films. It's Tarantino on a shoestring budget, 1.2 million, which decent, but like at the time, making a film with that, paying for film stock like that, that's a small budget, especially for these actors as well. Does it so well, leans heavily into what makes Tarantino great, which is dialogue and implication of violence and some very explicit violence.
Choice of actors.
Without going too far. Actors, amazing. Everything is stitched together in such a beautifully wonderful way. His first feature film still looks gorgeous. It looks amazing.
There is a huge but in here.
There isn't.
You said you had problems with it.
No, I've got one minor problem. And it's
just a minor but then, sorry.
It's just the thing that knocks one of the things that knocks me out Tarantino, and funny enough, without meaning to, we stepped on this when we did Django. Tarantino needs to stop using the N-word.
Oh, yeah, he did use it in this film, didn't he? I was thinking, for fuck's sake, not again.
He has used it.
Good point.
I looked this up online, actually, because I'm not normally affected by certain choices of dialogue and stuff in films.
In something like where we did a couple of weeks ago, where we did Spike Lee's Malcolm X, that's relevant to the situation. It's relevant. I mean, it's on about like his upbringing and how it affected him, and the kind of like racial shit that he went through. With this, it's unnecessary.
It's very unnecessary. And funny you should bring up Spike Lee. Turns out Spike Lee hates Tarantino. Tarantino and Spike Lee do not get along. The two
You and
of them
Spike Lee would be like good friends.
hate each other. I know. I want to meet Spike Lee one day. So the two of them just do not get on, and it's partly because of this. Actually, excuse me, Spike Lee has gone on record saying that he thinks Tarantino overuses the N-word. He doesn't think he should be using it as much as he is. He's not saying don't use it at all. He's saying sometimes you're using it too much. And Tarantino obviously is flipping out and being like, I'm an artist. I can write whatever I want.
Tarantino's known for flipping out.
He is. So I just looked this up right when I was looking at the Spike Lee stuff, and I followed a couple of links, and Tarantino's used it over 100 times in his films.
Jesus,
He's made 8 films. 8 films. He's used it over 100 times. And the problem, you identified it perfectly. It's context. In Django, most of the time it's fine because that's about race.
It's still quite
about
excessive.
Slavery. It's excessive, but like again, context fine. This film has nothing to do with race. They're all white except for the police chief or whoever it is he meets in the diner. And yet he still injects it when a different way of like basically it's
And
there.
it's used in a derogatory fashion because he says you're acting like a bunch of this, and it's just like why can't you just say idiots? Why can't you say cretins? Why
Can't you write something in there which is completely irrelevant of race or has a better, more articulate, more interesting use of vocabulary than using that word all the time?
I agree with you. I think that's a very good point to bring up. I think that's a very good thing to be pissed off about. It's just so fucking unnecessary. Are we Tarantino? And take yourself out your films.
Listen to Spike Lee and also take yourself out your films.
And also listen to the 70s sounds of the 70s. I fucked that up.
Just keep droning.
Yeah, the most drony voice in the world. He's a narrator. I can't remember what he's called. Yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
So there is Reservoir Dogs. You can let us know in the comments below what you think of Reservoir Dogs, or you can hit us up on Twitter, as always. We'll be back once again next week, where we're going to be watching... That was possibly the worst drum roll I've ever seen in my life. A streetcar named Desire.
Yeah.
So if you want to be part of the club, you can get watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
What if it wants to be a race car called Passion?